Okay, you guys, what is up? King Landing gonna do the rise and fall and rise again of Monkey D. Luffy. This video was a long time coming. People were like, "Yo, man, where the fuck is the rise and fall of Luffy?" I'm like, "Well, I gotcha. It's right here today." But be sure to click on the video for the rise and fall of Ichigo and the rise and fall of Naruto. Now, this is going to be the rise and fall and rise again of Monkey D. Luffy. So, it took me a little time in order to, get things sorted out. I had to go back and check my sources. I had to go back and check my information and so on and so forth. But here it is. Rise and fall of Monkey D. Luffy. Now, the first thing I want to say is that Monkey D. Luffy, within the confounds of his story, is a good character, and within the confounds of his story is a consistent character. His standing in the story doesn't all of a sudden flip. Like, for example, Naruto, work hard, and all of a sudden it switches to I'm the prophecy kid, and I might have the soul of the Sage Six Paths in me, like on some bullshit. Nah. And also how in the story Luffy's development is consistent. He has consistent character development throughout the entire series. Unlike Ichigo, where his development is somewhat strictly tied to his mood swings, which is not really development at all. But that being said, Luffy is a consistent character. However, he does have flaws. If he was a consistently good character throughout the entire series of One Piece, in the standing of the series One Piece, then this would be called the rise of Monkey D. Luffy. However, every character has a fall, which means that the rise of a character wouldn't really be possible. Now, that being said, let me hop right in, alright? So obviously the first thing I said was that he's a consistent character, and he really is. And from my take, I believe that he is the best of the big three. Now, fall number one, the major fall number one, is that Luffy is an anti-hero. Luffy plays the anti-hero role. And J-Man said in his video, he said it in his Fairy Tail and his Fairy Tail One Piece video. Luffy is an anti-hero, but yet he always attracts these friends, which is true. An anti-hero wouldn't really want to attract these friends. Granted, some of his friends are somewhat villainous, like Trafalgar Law or Bone Clay. They have, or maybe even Buggy or Mr. 3. They have a bad track record. They're kind of like the villains, but not really. At the same time, he does attract other people like the Galila Company or Frankie's subordinates, or like etc. and so on. So the thing is that the anti-hero, because Luffy doesn't want to be the hero, he doesn't want to play the hero role. But that being said, a hero would attract a lot of friends, quote unquote friend, and Luffy attracts a lot of people. He has this ability where people want to be near Luffy, they're inspired by Luffy, and so on and so forth. So that's fall number one, because him attracting friends goes against the anti-hero concept. However, people want to say that Luffy is always on the morally correct side. That's true, at the same time it's not. Because there are situations in the story where Luffy is on the morally wrong side. Because to us, it may seem morally right. However, within the confounds of their world, it is completely morally wrong. And through their concept, and through the confounds of the world, it could be perceived through us to be morally wrong. Alright, now let me give you an example, okay? And again, I'm going to say this once, Monkey D. Luffy, for a majority of the series, is on the morally wrong side. However, let me give you an example where he's morally wrong. Take a look at Impel Down. Impel Down, Monkey D. Luffy goes in there to save his brother Ace. True shit. However, in doing so, he releases these criminals into the world. Blackbeard goes in there and completely levels out level 6. He takes with him dangerous criminals. And the criminals that didn't die from the battles that they had inside their cages were also set free. Magellan was distracted by Monkey D. Luffy, and thus he couldn't tend to Blackbeard. Which means that Blackbeard was able to run amok because of Monkey D. Luffy. Blackbeard set free powerful fuckers. People that could destroy nations. He released the most dangerous woman in the world, Catalina Donovan, the giant battleship San Juan Wolf, Srry of the fucking Rain. Srry of the fucking Rain, people. A man who was considered to be on par with Magellan. The dude Monkey D. Luffy and his guys had to run away from. Big time. The dude who beat Monkey D. Luffy. He beat him. Quick. Well, not too quick. No, not really quick, but still. That being said, these are powerful fuckers. Magellan beat Blackbeard. However, because Magellan was distracted by Monkey D. Luffy, Magellan couldn't, finish Blackbeard off. And thus, Srry of the Rain was able to give Blackbeard the antidote so Blackbeard can go and do his shit. In that situation, these criminals are re-released into the world. And thus, Luffy is considered to be morally wrong. Also, I could easily say that Luffy could be considered morally wrong during Enies Lobby. Yes, I could. Why is that? If you remember, Enies Lobby is one of the 3 military functioning powers of the government, of the world government. Marine Ford, Impel Down, Enies Lobby. Luffy went into Enies Lobby. He went in there to save Robin, which is true. In the process, one of the 3 functioning military powers of the world government is completely destroyed because of Monkey D. Luffy, which means that criminals and pirates that are usually tried on that island, that are usually judged on Enies Lobby, can no longer be judged, which means that criminals can no longer be sent to Impel Down from Enies Lobby. He took out one of their 3 abiding functioning powers. That's a problem. That's a huge fucking problem. So Luffy in that situation can also be considered morally wrong. Luffy could also be considered morally wrong during the Alabasta situation. Even though this was a very, very, very good point of development for the character of Monkey D. Luffy, it makes Monkey D. Luffy seem actually somewhat smart, or at least somewhat knowledgeable of the world around him. Give me a sec, alright? A second, alright? Because my throat is killing me, alright? Killing me. I don't know why. It is, right? I'm just, hold on, wait. Hey. Fuck! Alright. 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 The thing is, with Alabasta, the way it worked is that Luffy stated to Vivi that, look, people are gonna die in this war. We can't stop it. All I'm gonna do is go after Crocodile, and that's it. Now, that's true shit, because this war did consist of 1 million soldiers, 700,000 revolutionaries against 300,000 royal guards, okay? And Luffy knew that he just couldn't stop it, which makes sense. However, he could be considered morally wrong because Luffy did not go through the effort of actually saving lives. He was only concerned about Crocodile and only Crocodile, and thus in the process, people died in this war. And also, I can flip the script on the Marine Ford War and say that Monkey D. Luffy could be considered morally wrong in the Marine Ford War because even though he went there to save Ace, once again, because of the escapees from Impel Down, and because Whitebeard felt compelled to give Luffy his commanders so that the commanders could protect Monkey D. Luffy, Whitebeard was completely vulnerable. he was completely susceptible to attacks from all directions. And thus, Whitebeard was killed because of that reason. Whitebeard was being stabbed, he was being shot with cannons and guns. Akainu fucked him up. Kizaru was shooting beams of light through the side, and he was getting completely bum rushed. Whitebeard's death is due to, in part, Luffy's involvement in the war. Had Luffy had not joined the Marineford War, Whitebeard would have had his commanders protecting him, and thus Whitebeard might not have actually died, which means that his territories would have actually been saved, meaning that the people living in that territories wouldn't be in these situations where pirates are now coming in there, ransacking the island because Whitebeard's protection flag is no longer there because he's dead. Meaning that Fishman Island wouldn't have to suffer even further because of Whitebeard's death. Which means that Big Man wouldn't be involved in Fishman Island. Which means that Fishman Island wouldn't have their fucking heads on a silver platter for fucking Big Man. All because Luffy got involved in the fucking Whitebeard War. I can flip it, man. I can just flip it like I could. So when it comes to morals, Luffy can be considered morally wrong in a lot of situations. He really could. He really could. But when it comes to the friendship thing, yeah, it goes completely against the anti-hero. It goes completely against the anti-hero concept. An anti-hero who doesn't want to be a hero shouldn't be gathering all these friends like that. No, it doesn't make any sense for the anti-hero role. It doesn't. Now, let me get to fall number 2. Number 2, numero dos. 1 second. Once again, you gotta take a water break. Jesus Christ, it's the rise and fall, people. Rise and fall. And rise again. Fuckers. No! Alright. Okay. Jesus. Alright. Rise and fall number 2, alright? Numero dos, okay? And this is gonna be the biggest, this is gonna be the longest, and this is gonna be the final rise and fall. Well, he only has two, and that's it, alright? Luffy, if you remember, Luffy from the beginning of the series of One Piece stated in front of Arlong that, look, I can't lie, I can't cook, I can't use a sword, I can't even navigate. But the one thing I can do is kick your ass. This sets up the foundation of the character Monkey D. Luffy for the entire series of One Piece. Straight the fuck up. Straight the fuck up. Monkey D. Luffy clearly admits that he is not good at anything else other than protecting his nakama and acting as the abiding captain of that ship, of that crew. That is what Monkey. Fuck me. Those are his two purposes: acting as the abiding captain of that ship, of that crew, and protecting his nakama, protecting those around him. That was clearly set in stone since the beginning of One Piece. If you don't know, now you know. And if you don't care, well then fuck you, because I don't give a shit, alright? Fuck off. But, that being said, where do you think his falls come from? Where do you think all the major falls come from? His major falls come from his inability to act as the abiding captain and his inability to protect his nakama. Boom. Boom. Now, because Luffy has these two jobs and these two jobs only, if he fails at them, then he falls, alright? And the thing is, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go step by step through the entire series of One Piece. I'm going to try to do it in a, nice and quick manner. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to state where he falls, alright? Where he fails as a captain and where he fails to protect his nakama. Now, the first fall is going to be Aokiji. After the Davy Back fight arc, Aokiji comes in there, they meet Aokiji. Aokiji fucks them up. He fucks them up. Quick. Aokiji freezes Luffy over. He freezes Robin. And the thing is, his crewmates have to retreat. Now, in this situation, Luffy actually succeeds in protecting his Nakama because his Nakama managed to escape Aokiji. That being said, he fails as a captain. Why? Because A, he's frozen over and Zoro has to act as the abiding captain for a short period of time. B, he loses the fight against Aokiji. And when you lose the fight against Aokiji, his crewmates were at risk. The only reason why Aokiji let them off the hook was because Aokiji felt indebted to Luffy because Luffy took out Crocodile. That is the only reason why Aokiji didn't go in there and kill them all. That is the only reason why. Luffy, as a captain, could not keep the crew in order and could not keep the crew in check because he was incapacitated. He was frozen over. He couldn't do shit. He was vulnerable, and thus he fails as a captain. However, following that became a rise. Two rises, in fact. Two rises. Rise number one, where Luffy actually acts like a captain and plays the captain role very well in the case of Usopp and the ship. Usopp was causing all this internal chaos and all this, strife and struggle between the crew because he wanted to keep the ship. And then Luffy was like, that's not happening because we need to go on our journey. And Luffy had to set Usopp straight. And when Usopp refused, then Luffy beat the shit out of him and kicked him out of the crew. Why? Because it's the greater good. Luffy did something for the greater good of the crew instead of the individual. This is the first time where dreams and goals and the job supersedes friendship. That's the first time in One Piece where goals, dreams, and my job as the captain supersedes friendship. Because usually One Piece is about the friendship thing, but guess what? If that was the case, then Luffy would have accepted Usopp back to the crew after the fight. And the thing is, Luffy actually, for the first time, Luffy actually contemplated his decision. He actually questioned himself. He's like, was I right? Like, was I actually morally right in doing this? Like, was this the right thing to do? And then Zoro told him, well, dude, like, you're the captain. And there are going to be things that you don't want to do, but you need to do them because you are the captain. And Luffy was hurt. Like, Luffy was actually hurt. He actually seemed really, like, not like severely depressed, but he seemed just, I don't know how you call it, but he seemed like out of tune with the world for a little bit. Like, he was really thinking about whether or not what he was doing was right or wrong. And that's good character development, and that's a rise for Monkey, and that's a big rise for Monkey D. Luffy as a character. Also, the next rise following that was the Gears. The Gear second, the Gear third, because Luffy realized, you know what? I'm not as powerful as I think I am. There are people out there that can take me out easy. I need to become stronger in order to protect my Nakama, because that is one of my two solitary jobs. And that led to the Gear second. And, the fucking pumping blood and the fucking, doing his thing. So, that's Rise and Fall number one. No, correction, that's Fall and Rise number one. After that situation, the next fall is going to be, and this is strictly a fall. After the Gekko Moria, at the end of the Gekko Moria arc, what happens? One of the most founding moments in One Piece that we all know. Zoro takes Luffy's pain. Luffy is incapacitated because he's been through a lot. He was using the gears a lot, combining Gear third with Gear second. His body was, couldn't handle the stress because he's not used to it at this point in time. And after he beats Gekko Moria, he's out. He's completely out. He's exhausted. But he does succeed in, he does succeed in saving their shadows. However, what happens? Fucking Kuma. Fucking Kuma, man. Speed of light, bitch. Kuma. I fucking love Kuma. Oh, I love Kuma. That being said, Kuma comes in there, fuck shit up. Zoro is captain. At this point in time, Zoro is now abiding captain. Why? Because Luffy is out. Luffy is out. And Zoro has to take over the mantle of captain. And he has to protect the crew. And he has to make sure everything is okay. And he's willing to sacrifice his own life. If Zoro actually died in that situation, that would have been a huge fail for Luffy. Because you were not able to protect. Your Nakama, especially your vice captain. So that's fall number 2. That's the first. Correction. That's the next fall in this series of falls. All right. After that fall is gonna be the big 3 falls. Well, correction. No. The big 2 falls. All right. And the 2 falls are Shibuya Archipelago and Impel Down combined with Marineford. Those are the 2 biggest falls right there. Those 2 combined, which lead to the biggest rise, okay? Monkey D. Luffy in Shibuya Archipelago, after the whole entire Gekomori thing, after they get Brook, Monkey D. Luffy fails. Not only as a captain, but he fails to protect his Nakama. Big time. Monkey D. Luffy loses to every opponent. He loses to the Kumas. He loses to Kizaru. He loses to Sentomaru. And the thing is, Kuma was able to disband their crew for a period of 2 years. 2 fucking years. They did not meet. And Zoro was near death. He was near fucking death. He got a fucking laser through the goddamn chest like Kizaru. Fucking near laser. So Luffy failed as a captain, and he failed to protect his Nakama. He failed at the 2 solitary jobs that he has. Failed. After that, he fails at protecting his Nakama again because he fails to rescue Ace. He goes through this entire process of trying to save Ace. He sacrifices years of his life. He breaks out prisoners from Impel Down. He goes to Marineford War, and he's like, and he's like exhausted. He's tired. He takes part in the war. He rescues Ace for a period of time, only for Ace to die protecting Luffy. Luffy completely fails in his one of 2 solitary tasks, which is to protect his Nakama. He completely fails. Completely. And then this leads to the whole entire depression that Luffy suffers from. Because he suffers from a depression, He is freaking the fuck out. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. Wakes up 2 weeks later. He's completely shot. And then this leads to this could be considered as not only a fall but a rise. I mean, this is the biggest rise, obviously, but this could also be a little bit of a fall. After his whole entire depression, when Rayleigh comes in and tells Luffy, okay, look, I think that you need to train for 2 years or train for a period of time so you can hone your skills, so you can come into the new world with the ability to be successful. Luffy had a choice. He had a choice to either not train for 2 years or go back to Shibuya Archipelago and actually rejoin the crew so they could continue on their journey. Luffy makes the choice of staying there for 2 years and training. And thus he relays the message to the other crewmates where they also train and develop their skills for 2 years. And thus they become more powerful, and thus they're able to be successful in Fishman Island and continue on their journey pretty smoothly. That being said, Luffy also somewhat failed as a captain because his crew were still disbanded. And as a captain, you need a ship and you need a crew. But in this case, you have no ship, you have no crew. And in this case, you fail because there's no crew to begin with. I mean, instead of actually, I mean, like, again, like, it's a little bit of a fall because, you know, like, obviously meeting there and going back to Shibuya Archipelago off the gate wouldn't be a smart move for the future. However, at the time, as a captain, it would have been considered to be, you know, okay too, because they're your crewmates, you're the captain, and you're supposed to look out for them because you are the abiding power on that ship. So that could be considered a rise and fall. I mean, that could be considered a fall, but it's mainly a rise because, again, they come back from Fishman Island. They come back gear second, one arm, fucking Hell's Memories, Skywalk, Blue Walk, fucking Dragon Black Twisters, Zoro doing his fucking thing, giant hands, Chopper Beast Mode, plants up the fucking dickhole, Radical Beam, Soul King, motherfucking Brook, and witches, bitch. Nami's a fucking witch, okay? So, obviously, they came back with the skills necessary to be successful in the new world. Now, that being said, that's good shit. That's good shit. And that is the final fall thus far of Monkey D. Luffy. Now, the thing about it is that the fall number two consists of all these falls within the story. Think of any situation where Luffy fails as a captain or he fails to protect his Nakama, that's going to be a fall. Because it was set in stone from the beginning of the series that his only task, or his only two tasks, would be to protect his Nakama and to act as the abiding captain. So if he fails at those two, it's a fall. It's a fall. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is, man. But I must say, I do want to point this out. The thing about Luffy that makes him really good is that he can acknowledge his own falls. He can acknowledge his own falls. When they came back from their time skip, Luffy took the crew and he apologized to everyone. He's like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being so selfish. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't protect you guys in Shibuya Archipelago. I'm sorry. I had to do this because I was weak, and now I'm strong. You know, and he admits to his own flaws. That's good shit. That's good shit. When you have a character that can admit to his own flaws, that's good shit. That's good shit. And that's it. So that's gonna be the rise and fall and rise again of Monkey D. Luffy. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, this one, unlike the other two, had to take a little more time. I had to go throughout the entire process because Luffy is a very consistent character. Oh yeah, one more thing. Wait a second. Yeah, you know what's coming. Yeah, wait. Okay. For those of you fuckers, for those of you butthurt motherfuckers who keep on complaining, no names, who keep on complaining about Luffy sleeping through the entire flashback of the Fishman Island tiger thing. And that's the thing, we have no idea when he fell asleep during that flashback. It could have been at the beginning, it could have been midway, it could have been at the end. We don't fucking know. But that being said, for those of you butthurt motherfuckers who keep on bitching about that goddamn sleep, shut the fuck up. Please shut the fuck up. Luffy has been in the situation of racism on multiple occasions. Every occasion has the same fucking answer. The same fucking answer. And on top of that, Horty Jones himself did not suffer from the hands of humans. So your whole entire bullshit logic of, oh my god, it's racism, shut the fuck up. And also, this signifies a cultural difference because in Japan, a majority of citizens in Japan are Japanese. Racism is not a big issue in Japan. That's a cultural divide right there. So stop bitching about it. You fucking whores. Please. Stop. It's stupid. Jesus Christ, it's stupid. Stop. My God. I thought it was funny. Hell. Racism, I mean, he's dealt with it before on like 3 occasions. It's always been the same answer. This. Is it the best answer? Obviously not, but he doesn't give a shit. He's a fucking pirate. Why the fuck should he care about the world around him? He's a fucking pirate. There's a shit ton of pirates out there in the world of One Piece that do a shit ton worse, that affect the world around them in a much more severe way, and they don't give a flying fuck. So what? Like, what the fuck? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Stop bitching. That being said, King of Lightning, be sure to check on the video somewhere for the Rise and Fall of Naruto and the Rise and Fall of Ichigo. The next videos are going to be the Rise and Fall of Natsu Dragon Eel. I might do the Rise and Fall and Rise Again of Gon Freaks. And I might do the Rise and Fall and Rise Again of Sasuke Uchiha. Yeah, that's right. Because Naruto has 2 main characters, Sasuke and Naruto. Naruto's a Rise and Fall, but Sasuke is a Rise and Fall and Rise Again. But that being said, that's going to be later on, alright? Sasuke will take me some time to do, for sure. And Gon Freaks. But Natsu, oh my god. Oh, I'm going to win on Natsu. Oh my, I might do 2 weeks from now. Who knows? But that being said, King of Lightning, rate, comment, subscribe. Give me your thoughts on this video, and I am signing off. Again, please remember, this is all my opinion. This is the way I see things. This is my take on it. If you want to have your own opinion and your own take on it, go ahead, make a video response. I don't really give a shit. I don't care. Because my opinion, my take is not going to change until Luffy decides to say, hey, I'm going to try and overthrow the world government. Which he's not going to say that. So, the fuck, alright? He's not Monkey D. Dragon. That's Dragon's job, to care about the government. Not Luffy's. He's a fucking pirate who wants to be the freest person in the sea. Just saying. With that being said, King of Lightning, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.